Okay. What's your name and where you from and when you were born?
My name is Faye Kelly Brown Kelly. I was born March 9, 1942 in San Jacinto County, uh, which is now Maynard, Texas, was then Old Waverly, Texas.
How did your family get to Texas?
My mother and father were born in San Jacinto County. Uh, my great grandparents came from Alabama, as did my uh, on both sides. My mother and father's people came from Alabama.
Your grandparents was born in like 1800s something, right?
Yes.
Were they like sharecroppers or anything like that?
Uh, they were, um, no, my grandmother on my father's side, she had her own place. They did farming, and so did on my mother's side. They farmed the land.
Did do you have any other race people in your family?
Yes, we have Caucasians.
Was it like it's a lot of them, or just like were they married into the family, or was they just
My great great grandfather, William Bill Kelly, who came from Virginia, he was white. He married well, he couldn't marry then, but they were together. They were together, and they had 10 children. He was in the, he fought for the Confederate. He was in the
in
army.
the Confederate?
Yes, and his wife, which she wasn't legally his wife, she was she was a mulatto. She was her mother was African and part Indian, and they were together. And she had 10 children for him, and she died giving birth to her shortly after the birth of her 10th child. And in his will, he left everything to her, and he said he couldn't say his wife, but his I forgot what it said. His trusted something, but they were together, and with the 10 children. And he died. When he died, my grandmother was taking care of him. Uh, so yes, it's my grandmother on my father's side. She was mulatto. Her father and her mother and father were both. So it's a lot of mixed race in the family.
Were they treated any differently?
No, well, my William Bill Kelly, my great great grandfather, it said that he built a school on his property for his kids because he wanted them to be educated, and he had to when the Klan came there, he had his shotgun out for 'em. But because his kids they couldn't go to the school with the other races because they would be the whites. So, um, but he was something else.
Who were some of your role models growing up?
Oh, family, teachers.
How were the schools back then? Because I know they were segregated.
Segregated school, yes. I went to a segregated um, elementary, junior high, high school. Schools were, I don't think they were integrated until 60 something.
How did the Jim Crow laws affect your family, your community, and people around you?
Well, we couldn't go where we wanted to go. We couldn't, everything was off limits unless it was, we went to places in our neighborhood. I grew up in Fifth Ward, but back then we had, yeah, Fifth Ward was uh, a great little community. They had a lot of black-owned businesses. We had three movie theaters, the Lions, I think, and the Deluxe and the Jensen. A lot of black businesses then. Shoe shops, there was a club called Club Matinee, and it was nice way back then. Back in the 50s, it was different than it is now. Much different.
You think Texas, the racism in Texas was worse than other places?
I think it was probably better. Not that that's not saying much, but I think racism in other places like Alabama, Mississippi, it was much worse.
What event happened like that was due to racism happened in Texas
Texas.
that you more familiar with?
I remember Joe Torres. I think he was handcuffed and they threw him in the Buffalo Bayou and he died. They beat him, and I think Ida Delaney, she was killed. I think on her way to work. That was police brutality, and yeah, a lot of racism was in the police department.
Did your parents discuss racism to you, or was
No,
it
no,
just like you already knew what it was?
well, I knew the difference between white and blacks. The rights they had and the rights we didn't have.
It was just in your face.
Yeah.
Um, did you really have any kind of interaction with other races?
Back then,
Mm-hmm.
not really, unless you went to a downtown apartment store. Uh, I remember when I was 13, my father took my sister and I down. We went to the bus station to eat. That's where he took us to lunch because we couldn't go to the, you know, Woolworths and places like that with the lunch counters.
Well, so school was a big deal for your family.
School,
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of people in my family, but not for me because I got married young and I didn't go to college. Didn't have any money, and I was married young.
Where did your parents work?
My mother worked as a maid, and then later in life, she worked as a private duty nurse. My father did construction work, and then when he went back to the country, he ran a little cafe and barbecue. Had barbecue. He was a great cook.
Did did like your parents have direct issues with racism? Did they come home and tell y'all stories about stuff like that?
No, no, but I'm sure they did deal with racism in their lives.
Did you how did you feel when Obama was elected president?
Oh, that was a great day. Great day
Did
for the
you
whole
ever
country.
expect something like that to happen?
No, not in my lifetime.
That was just like a fairy tale to everybody that grew up, coming from segregation and all that stuff that was
Yes,
going on, Jim Crow laws.
that's right.
Do you think police brutality is pretty much the same or is
I think
different now?
it's much the same in a lot of yeah. It's the same and I think it's worse now in some instances. Where they are killing all our young people just and they get away with it. Nothing is done.
Did you hear about the things that was going on around America in the South? Do you think that was worse than the things that was happening in Texas directly? Do you think that the other states surrounding Texas in the South was dealing with way more racial
Oh
things?
yes, like Mississippi, Alabama. Yes, we didn't have all those riots here where they hosed us down and kicked us. No, we didn't have a lot
You
of that
think
here. I don't remember, but I think it was much worse in Mississippi, Alabama, and all those southern states.
you think people just knew better not to do certain things? That's why it wasn't like that.
Uh, I can't say.
Did you like when they bombed the church, when they killed them kids? Did it affect y'all back here in Texas, or
Well,
y'all
yeah,
just
that
was used
affected
to it?
everybody everywhere. I mean, that was just awful. It affected everybody.
It was like so growing up, it was pretty much white people over here, black people over here, and y'all stay separate.
That's the way it was.
Do you think Black history is important?
Oh, it's very important. Very important. If they get all the facts right. Here in Texas, they leave out a lot of stuff. They don't put things that really happen. They leave it out, and that needs to change.
Do you think the things that happened, well, that you had went through young in your life affect you now, like with race, like with race?
Um, Say that again.
Do like the things you experienced growing up, do that still have like a bearing on how the way you act with certain people now? Because you went through the Jim Crow laws and segregation and all that.
No, I think I'm equal to anybody else.
You don't think it affects you that much?
No,
Do you think college is important?
very important. Yes, you can't get anywhere these days without a college education. Yes, if you can go to college, go. Learn all you can, because it's very important.
All right.